Hello everyone, the topic I'm going to talk about today is female comedians, or are women less funny than men? Now, to be honest, I've actually never heard about the idea of women being less funny than men until I read about it on the internet a few years ago. I found out that on the internet there are a lot of people, mostly men but some women as well, who believe that men are funnier than women. And honestly, I was very surprised because in my own observations, I had never come to such a conclusion. So I tried to find out why people think this way. So after giving this a little thought and actually researching a bit on the internet, I now realize where these people are coming from. In today's media, and especially in Hollywood, the best comedians are mostly men. When you speak of comedy, the people which would most likely come to our minds are mostly men, people like Will Ferrell, Jim Carrey, Rowan Atkinson, and so on. And few of us might actually think about a woman. I'm not saying that female comedians don't exist, but the most prominent comedians are men. Now, does this mean that men are funnier? Well, I don't think so. I think that the main reason why men are the major comedians in Hollywood and the rest of Western media is because of feminism. Now, in my personal life, in my interactions with the women I know, on average, I'd say that if they're not funnier than the men I know, they are at least as funny as men. So why are men the major comedians in Hollywood and the rest of Western media? I think that the reason for this is feminism. Now, how does feminism make women less funny? Well, ever since the feminist movement began, Hollywood has been the forefront of promoting feminism and feminist ideology, to the point that nowadays a lot of people actually think that Hollywood is mostly feminist and liberal propaganda. And I do believe that most movies and most media coming from Hollywood are relatively biased towards feminist ideology. So how does this affect female comedians? Well, one of the major tropes or cliches that has come out of feminist media is the "you go girl" type of female character. In movies, female characters are much more likely to be more competent, more rational, more mature, and almost superior in every way in comparison to male characters. Female characters are more often than not likely to be flawless angels or Mary Sues, and that is actually the main reason which is holding back female comedians, being flawless. Now, if you know anything about comedy, you'd know that self-deprecation is a cornerstone of comedy and humor. I mean, just look at Jim Carrey. His whole shtick is self-deprecation. But in the feminist media, you cannot have self-deprecation for women. Women should be perfect in every way. You cannot have flawed female characters because you want to show them as superior to the ignorant and stupid ways of men. And for this exact reason, women in the media cannot be as funny as their male counterparts. Am I saying that self-deprecation is the only way to be funny? No. But when you basically ban self-deprecation for women, you're in a way making them fight with one hand tied behind their backs, while their male counterparts get to fight with both hands. There are many tools when it comes to comedy, but when you have one gender using all the tools and the other gender denied from using one of the main tools, it is clear that the gender which gets to use all the tools in the box is going to have a huge advantage. Now, there are exceptions to this. There are women who actually go against the norm and use self-deprecation in their work. And because of this, they're actually more successful in comedy. For me, the best example of this is Catherine Tate, who created the Catherine Tate Show on BBC. If you would take a look at it, you'd see that the show is full of self-deprecation, and it has worked for her really well. So, in a nutshell, I believe that women can be as funny as men, but they are being held back because of feminism.